Well, hi and a very good morning. I'm just going to click up and get that going. So hi and very good morning to show number 15. We're 15 weeks in. We've got a busy show today. We've got a couple of interviews. We've got Art coming on, then we've got Peter. And then we want to talk about those interviews because they're quite important interviews to go over. We've also got some chart, or one chart that I want to go over. Antonio has sent in where he's talking about sense of knowing. Let me just kill that over there because we can't have that running as well. And we're also going over, I want to talk about sense of knowing both ways. Now what I mean by that is you know, sense of knowing up, sense of knowing down, pretty simple. I'll talk about both of those. I want to talk about mechanical sense of knowing. And yeah, so there's quite a lot going on today on today's show. So what I want to do is I want to get straight into Art's interview. We'll go through that, have a quick chat about that, then we'll get on to Peter, and then we'll go through and cover all those other bits. So I'll catch up with you in just a moment. You know, I've just had a call about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just had a call about you with Peter. Peter came on. It's an interview, and he was saying, yeah, he talked quite a bit about you and Khan, how you'd influenced him, and yeah, it'll be an interesting show, interesting interview for you to watch. But he was saying about your goal seeking and stuff like that, and how it resonated with him, and how he had to get his mind right onto what he really wanted, his core driven purpose, and that sort of stuff. And you really helped with that process.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help someone. Yeah. That's good to hear.
Well, that's good. Anyway, so how are you?
I'm good. I'm just here in Ohio. It's snowing and cold, but yeah. As far as trading, yeah, it's going in the right direction. I feel like it.
Okay, that's
good. I'm working on my SOK, sense of knowing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I don't trust it, so I'm learning how to trust it more.
Yeah.
So really, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Is just really how do I trust it per se? Because sometimes, you know, when I have the feeling, the sense of knowing, and I don't make a trade, and then after the market goes the direction I was thinking it would go, you know, I'm not sure whether just the hindsight 2020 or that was the real sense of knowing. So how do you tell the difference, and really, I suppose, how do you trust the sense of knowing?
Okay, very good question. Now, what I'm going to tell you now might sound a little bit off the wall, but but just have a little bit of trust, faith. How do you feel about talking to yourself?
Pretty good.
Okay.
That's the normal to me, I suppose.
What I want you to do is start having a conversation with your sense of knowing. Okay.
Okay.
And when you have your sense of knowing, and you're not sure about something, and then you're not sure about trust, and you're feeling this thing, I need you to ignore. You need to acknowledge that to your sense of knowing. You know, as if it's another being, as if it's something outside of yourself. Well, it's inside yourself, but a separate thing from your voice, from your conscious talking to it. So in other words, you might like to, for example, thank your sense of knowing. Say, I acknowledge you, thank you, because what you're doing then is you're building trust in it, that it's getting through to you. You see, it's a bit like if your sense of knowing is popping up and not being used, it will start to fade because it won't. It's not getting fulfilled. It's not coming through to you and not being acted upon. So it deems it as an invalid exercise, a pointless exercise. Hang on a minute, why am I going to bother doing this? Because, you know, it's not being used. So it won't become a predominant thing. Now, of course, when you're starting off, there's that trust, isn't there? Is this my sense of knowing? Is this really going on? So what you've got to do is you've got to set up this communication with it that says, okay, I really think this is my sense of knowing. Thank you very much for that. You know, next time, can you make that a little bit stronger so I can recognize it more easily? You know, so you have this two-way conversation with yourself and your sense of knowing, or a two-way conversation. You're sort of listening more to the feedback you're getting, and so that the sense of knowing knows that you are receiving, you are taking notice, as it were. As I said to you, it's a little bit off the wall, but it's not really. It's what we do need to do. We do need to communicate with our sense of knowing. And what will happen then is you will start to develop a trust, or more another way of putting it is that your sense of knowing will start to trust you. It will trust that everything's working as it should be. You're acting on it, but the very fact of you acknowledging it is acting on it, is giving it trust, is giving it more power. A bit like a muscle, you're using it more, you're flexing it more, and it will become stronger and stronger. And when you listen to Peter today, not today, it'll be tomorrow on tomorrow's show. When you listen to Peter, you'll pick up on that, how how he's developed that through the book as well, Psycho-Cybernetics. Now, did you get that book? You did, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I'm still in the process of reading it.
Okay.
I'm trying to not read the whole book in 1 week and just forget everything. So I'm trying to read one chapter at a time and several times.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I understand it well. So I'm in the middle of it. So far everything makes sense. So it's a really good book. Helped me out tremendously. But with the trusting at least the sense of knowing, I still need to, or not trusting but recognizing it more.
Okay.
But I still need to work on the fact that I don't trust it sometimes, and I think the conversation with myself, that might help. Yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it. So it makes sense. So I'll try to work on that as far as develop the trust. It's
almost like you need to show it respect. You need to show respect of what it's doing for you. The amount of work that it's actually doing for you, you need to show it respect, and you need to thank it. Don't be caught up on it. Don't think this is weird stuff. Just do it. Do it and thank it, and you'll find you will develop a relationship with your sense of knowing almost, and it becomes your greatest friend, your greatest ally. And hey, it gets excited. It likes to do what it's doing. Its role there is to give you that intuition. We're only using for what it's there for. We're just trained it to use for trading, but we use it in other areas of our lives all the time, and we think nothing of it. But what we've done literally is taken a normal thing that we don't recognize very well. We've applied it to trading, and now we're training ourselves to really recognize it, to use it as a tool for decision making for all sorts.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it just I believe in it, I understand it, but it's still not coming through as strong as I would want it to be. It's like logically I understand it, I get it, but sometimes it's just hard to sense it, I guess.
That's good. I mean, talking to you and how you're reacting to it, and listening to what you're saying, I wouldn't have a care in the world. To me, there's no alarm bells going off here that you're thinking, oh, you're in trouble, anything like that at all. No, I think you're actually just progressing nicely to get better and better and better with it. But you sometimes you can feel frustrated, can't you? You feel like, oh, is this or is this go? You start to question things, and that frustration, of course, then the frustration is like a negative feedback, because the sense of knowing that's coming up is causing frustration. And if sense of knowing causes frustration in you, it will be deemed as a bad thing. Because remember, the psyche doesn't want to be frustrated. It doesn't want to feel any anguish, doesn't want to feel any fear. So if the sense of knowing interprets itself that, hey, my sense of knowing is causing Art to feel this particular way, it will shut that down. It will tone it down. It won't give you the volume or the strength, let us say, of sense of knowing that it could do. And that's why I say the communication with it assures it, look, okay, I might not be understanding you exactly as at the moment, but thanks very much for this. We'll keep working together. If I interpret it wrong, that's just me. But we'll keep working together and get stronger and stronger. A simple statement like that is enough to get things boiling again, as it were, and back on track.
Yeah, I understand. What